Well, we got something special for you guys today.
The 10mm was first introduced in 1983. 5 years later, it was selected for service by the FBI. That was short-lived. The reason being, too much recoil in this massive caliber. Yep, they're pansies. So the solution was simple. They took the 10mm, they reduced the bullet weight, and they reduced the amount of powder inside, creating what they would call the 10mm lite. Now that's important to know because a couple years later, in 1990, Smith & Wesson released their version of the 10mm lite. Introducing to you the 40 cal Smith & Wesson. This is literally the offspring of the 10mm, or I should say the 10mm lite. Although the 40 cal Smith & Wesson is still widely accepted and used today, the 9mm currently is the king. Most police agencies, FBI, law enforcement, ATF, you name it, they're using 9mm. Why? Less recoil, faster shooting, flatter shooting, great ballistics, accurate. You name it, it seems to fit all of it. So in today's video, I'll be showing you guys how the 10mm stacks up compared to the 9.
10mm. Are they here to stay? Or are they a short-term fad? So I'm gonna be taking 2 shots with each pistol just to kind of show you guys how much muzzle rise we have as we're shooting this. So first up is the 6 Hour. This is the P320, the M18, chambered in 9mm. Here we go. So this is the FN 510, chambered in 10mm. Here we go. Yeah, I can feel a lot more recoil there. So I totally get it. Taking one controlled shot is much different than shooting 10 rounds super fast all in a row. So I loaded up 10 rounds, both 9mm and 10mm. And again, I'm not a professional shooter. I'm one of you guys. I just shoot for fun. But I want to test out my abilities shooting as fast as I can, downrange, and see, 1, what's my grouping size, but 2, how fast can I do it? So we're gonna have a timer on screen so you can see how fast I can mag dump 10 rounds of 9 and 10. Here we go. Now we're gonna do 10 rounds of 10. Here we go. I also want to show this is a lot further back than you would normally be shooting somebody. They normally say what's within 7 yards, right? I don't know if you guys can get a depth here. This is a good ways away to my target. Within a second and a half, 2 seconds to hit 8 rounds, pretty tight. I'm impressed. So for the next test, we're gonna test out the ballistics. This is gonna be a 10mm and a 9mm versus these clay heads. First up is going to be the 9mm hollow point. There we go. That actually did a lot more damage than I thought I was going to do. In fact, you can see all the shrapnel in here. There's a lot of it. Look at his nose just peeled back. So that created a pretty big cavity. I'm expecting the 10mm to completely pop off his head. Completely, it should be gone. Next up is the 10mm, and I'm getting low, at a low angle like this, just so I'm not hitting my table because I've broken way too many of those tables. So here we go, 10mm. Oh. Dang, boy, that was wild. So I'm no expert. I'm pretty sure this does a little bit more damage. There's no real science behind it other than just visually speaking. But yeah, 10mm for sure. So what's a gun video without a random Glock mag dump? Oh, I hate Glocks, but these binary triggers in them, they're pretty dang sweet. So that was super cool, but let's get back to business. Let's go shoot these things indoor range, accuracy tests, nice, slow. You know, I don't want to be shooting super fast, but nice, slow, methodical shots to see what the accuracy is out of a 10 millimeter, okay? I'm not gonna be using red dots, iron sights only. I'll have the flashlights on them, but that's it. No extra add-ons, no nothing, just straight shooting out of the box. So here we go. If you guys are looking for a cool way to display your pistols, check out hptactical.com. They have a variety of pistol stands that fits 1911, Glocks, FN, 6 Hour, you name it, they can fit it. They also have really cool AR-15 stands as well. The point of this specific test was to shoot 10 rounds with 9mm and 10 rounds with 10mm in a nice controlled environment where I could really focus on accuracy. Is the 10mm accurate? That is what I'm trying to get out of this test right now. I know that the 9mm is accurate. Now again, I'm an average shooter. I don't claim to be good. In fact, I kind of suck. You guys can actually see right here, I'm not that great of a shot. This was at 21 feet or 7 yards. Looking back at it when I was live there, it didn't feel super great to me, but as I'm watching it on camera, actually it's just fine. Like, that's not bad, dude. We're talking about a human-sized torso at 21 feet away. That's actually some pretty good shooting. I was very impressed with the FN 510 Tactical. This thing shot smooth. Obviously it has a lot more kick than the 9mm, but this is me trying to be controlled, I guess. Not being controlled, but this is me trying to shoot well in a controlled environment again. The recoil was very manageable. I was able to kind of quickly get back on target looking down through my iron sights. It wasn't hurting my hand, it wasn't hurting my wrist. It shot really, really smooth. I was impressed with how smooth the entire handgun functioned. This group size was amazing. For me shooting 10mm at 21 feet, this was absolutely perfect for me. This could not have gotten better. But in fact, it did get better. The reason being, I picked up the 6 Hour X10, also chambered in 10mm, obviously. I wanted to kind of compare multiple 10mm handguns to the 9mm cartridge. I was amazed by this gun. At 21 feet, I could kind of see my bullet holes. My eyes maybe are bad. I don't know. I don't know how well you guys can see at 21 feet, but I could see that I was shooting for the most part all within the red. When I finally pulled the target in, I saw that I basically had two groupings that were maybe an inch apart from each other. I mean, there was like a, I don't know, $50 size hole where a whole bunch of my shots actually hit. Yeah, right here you guys can see I have two holes, well, and a third shot down low, but basically two holes. That is amazing for me. I'm an average shooter. This is a huge caliber. This is a 10mm being shot at 21 feet or 7 yards away. I was very impressed with this. So why has the 10mm become so popular? Because literally just 3 years ago, only a small handful of companies were making a handgun chambered in 10mm. Today, there are a lot. In fact, let me pull it up for you guys. This is what's wild. Just literally a few years ago, in 2018, there was only a couple companies who were making a 10mm handgun, okay? In 2023, there is Armscore, Colt, Dan Wesson Firearms, FN, Glock, Kimber Manufacturing, Nighthawk Custom, Ruger, 6 Hour, Smith & Wesson, Springfield Armory, STI, Tingle and a lot more. There are a lot of companies who now have their version of a handgun chambered in the 10mm. And the question is why? Why are so many people buying it? And why are so many companies jumping on the bandwagon and selling these guns? Well, I don't know. All right. No, in all seriousness, the 9mm is still a great cartridge. In fact, it is probably better than the 10mm for most cases. However, for me, I love the 10mm. I truly became a fan of this. What's weird to me is I actually don't like the 45. The 45 seemed too big and too bulky for me. It seemed slow shooting. It seemed like a lot of recoil, a lot of kick. The 10mm, I don't know why. Maybe it's like a mind game or an ego thing. I love it. So if you guys can handle shooting a 10mm, I suggest get one.